Hey, I'm your host, Bree Wild, and this is Marquee Memories. Here we sit down with your favorite artists to talk about their top concert memories as fans. Today's guest is a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter who has written songs for and with Miley Cyrus, Sam Smith, and Beyoncé. No big deal. She has a brand new album out called All Things Light, and this fall you can catch her on the Slowdown Tour. Cam, welcome.
Hi.
I know that was just scratching the surface of your bio.
Yes.
What brings you to LA? Because you're not from here, right?
I was born in Huntington Beach.
Yep.
And then when I was 5, my dad got a job in the San Francisco Bay Area doing construction management. And they found like a house that had like foundational issues, but they knew how to fix it. And the lady was like, well, you can afford the house because it had the foundation problems. She goes, but can you afford the lifestyle? And it was like moving into like a really great public school system and all that kind of stuff. And it was a really idyllic childhood. I always like romanticized coming back to LA as a kid. Because I don't know why, just the place you were once from. And now at this point, I just have a lot of people that I love, friends, and kind of like my musical brother and my musical creative partner. They both live here. And yeah, there's just so much fun, creative stuff happening in LA. So I like being out here.
We have something in common. We both have pandemic children.
Oh,
I have a son who is 6.
Oh my
and you have a daughter
who's about to turn 6 in December.
I love the story that you shared about how you realized how much she was absorbing. If you could tell an abridged version of that story,
Yes.
I just want to hear it again because it's so
About,
perfect.
is it about the chickens?
Oh, actually, I don't know. No, it's about how you realized for the first time that she knew all the words to your songs. Like you wrote this album for her.
Yes, this new album. If you open the vinyl, there's like a whole thing that's like a dedication to her and like being in the pandemic, being a first-time mom. I don't know if this is how you felt, but I was like, my entire worldview just got like ripped from me. I felt like I didn't know up or down. I wrote this all just being like, you know what? I wasn't raised with a religion, but I really need something to hold on to right now. I really need like to build something for myself that can be like the touchstones as I face the abyss of my life. And yeah, so I started writing this album, All Things Light, and we were doing the Austin City Limits, the 50th anniversary concert, and myself and the Indigo girls were sitting right there, and I was rehearsing and doing like a sound check for Turns Out That I'm God. And that's something I needed to say to myself. I think that's what most of music is. I'm saying something I really need. I wish someone else would tell me, but I'm going to say it for myself. And to see like my 5-year-old sitting on my lap, like singing like Turns Out That I Am God was just, I mean, it's such a gift. I don't know how much she fully understands what she's saying, but yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe it is going to help her later when she's like hitting some hard times, as we all do.
That's amazing. Now I need to hear about the chickens though.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, we had backyard chickens because I was like, oh, this will teach her responsibility and, you know, all these ideas you get as a parent. You're like, I'm going to help in this way. And then it turns out there's always like some horrible death that happens with a chicken. And one of them, her favorite one, just keeled over one day. We found it in the, coop, done. And so then you have to bring up, okay, hard story.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get a replacement chicken fast enough, like you got to just own up to it. This chicken did not make it. And she was like, so what does death mean? What happens when we die? And have you had any heavy questions like that where you're like, I did not know what to say?
Yes. And I'm like Googling, I'm like books for 6-year-old death.
Yes.
And like what do you,
there's so much Googling that happens right now.
There's so much.
And I just was like, first thing I thought of was like, your body gets really still and then our light goes back up to the stars. And she kind of was like, and then just went about her business. In your day-to-day, you don't have to think about it until something happens or you lose someone or something makes you face your own mortality. And then in those moments, that's when you do need like an album of songs like this or something that's going to help keep you grounded and keep you going. I think I always grew up thinking that religion was really confining because I think there are some bad examples of how it gets executed sometimes. And then I think you rob yourself of the ability to have like really genuine spiritual experiences because you're you're already closed off
Right.
to it. And
It doesn't fit in that box.
no,
So,
but
yeah.
it's like, that's like one of the most human experiences you can have.
I love the questions, but sometimes I do I'm like, how about you ask Google?
Yeah.
So Indigo Girls, that leads us into the 2004 Memory of the Greek Theater at Berkley.
Yeah. So the first one is the Indigo Girls, Greek Theater, Berkeley, 2004. I discovered the Indigo Girls like senior year of high school. And this was like the first album. It was their retrospective album. And then All That We Let In. They were like the first music. I was like, this is my music. It's not my parents' music. It's not my friends' music. This
Discovered
is like,
it on your own.
Yes. And I was like, it resonated so much in my heart. I was like, I could make something like this possibly, or I love this. So my parents were such troopers. They like got tickets. It was me. It must have been my sister, my parents, and I. We're all parked in the parking lot of the Greek, and we're walking in across, because it's kind of by UC Berkeley and stuff. And we're walking across the parking lot, and their bus is like right there. And there was no like tape off or like security, which is what I would assume would be happening. They just get off their bus by themselves, basically walking. And we're almost like about to walk
Like
almost like side by side. And my mom goes, oh, you got to tell them what they mean to you. And I was like, Mom, not like this, like, I don't want
too much pressure.
Yes, too much pressure in front of you guys in a parking lot. Like, no, thanks. And the concert was incredible. It's just like the Greek is such a beautiful like feeling too, the atmosphere of it all. And it was fantastic. And fast forward to like so many years later, now I'm friends with them. I adore them. We've played at each other's shows. And I remember at the Ryman, I actually got up on stage when I was guesting at one of their shows. And I was like, okay, I'm going to tell them like this. Here's where I tell them what they mean to me. And so I like paused before I was playing a song and like just told them how formative, their music was for me and what their artistry meant to me. And so, yeah, that
Did you call
parking
your
lot
mom
kit
after
made
and
it.
be like, listen, I finally told them?
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. Well, how did you discover them? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was in a children's choir, and I went to choir camp.
Keep going.
And you're still friends with me now. And senior year, all the seniors get to do like a song of their choice at campfire. And so in front of like all the rest of the people at camp, you get to sing something of your choosing. And a friend of mine, she goes, I really want to do Ghost. Will you sing it with me? Which is an Indigo Girls song with these beautiful harmonies. And I was like, what is this song? Who are these people? And then from there, I just did a deep dive and was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. We sang it in front of the campfire. I swear there was like a shooting star. Like it was like
Magical.
Yeah, so magical. Magical choir camp story.
So you saw them at the first show. When was the first time you worked with them, and how was that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Emily tweeted at me, and then somehow we said we should write, and we kind of became friends. And I remember she hung out at my house for a write. Maybe it was one of the first-ish times. And I just felt like we were having such a good time. And she said something along the lines of like, oh, like we get along so well, or we're similar. She said something to that effect. And I was just like thinking to myself, yeah, because you made me, just like, I'm like one of those, like just emulating everything. If as closely as I could, I would love to be her. But when I had my daughter during the pandemic, like a few weeks later, she dropped off a sweet little like gift on the porch. And I, 3 weeks postpartum, just bawled my eyes out. I was like, this is too nice of you. This towel is beautiful. So yeah. And over the years, I've gotten to do things with them, and it still feels like a pinch me unreal thing that I even know them. I showed Emily this album, All Things Light, before it came out, and she loved it. And her favorite song was Turns Out That I'm God, which is my favorite. So
I think my favorite is Kill the Guru.
Oh,
It's
you want to know the story about that one?
I do.
So, Burning House is like my 4 times platinum
anniversary
hit. Yeah,
this year, right?
It was 10 years ago. massive song about me leaving a boyfriend and feeling so guilty about it. I had this dream about a burning house. So the reason I left that boyfriend was I fell in love with a guru in Nepal. He wasn't Nepalese. I'm not giving Nepalese people a bad name. They're very wonderful. And I don't know if you've seen like any of those cult documentaries on Netflix or whatever, but
I'm reading a book about a cult right now, like
Yeah.
Uncultured, I think it's called. The Children of God, sort of.
okay.
Yeah.
But red flag, like you don't want to date someone who describes himself as a guru. It's a
Fair.
bad move. And he proved it all right. So this is my like kind of last laugh titled Kill the Guru.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. I also like Slow Down. I add that.
Yes.
I add that to my kids' calm down playlist. After 7:00, we only listen to chill songs.
Wow.
So,
That's smart.
I mean, otherwise it's like Dance Monkey
Yes.
and
We're doing.
Turn Down for What? Like you can't listen to that after 7:00.
Have you gotten into the Chipmunks versions of things too?
No.
Yes. It's
Oh
a
my
new
gosh.
layer of. It's kind of nice to revisit the 2000s, but it wears on you.
Is she into the K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yes. Obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters, and we're obsessed with Dead Dance, the new Lady Gaga.
Oh, nice.
Playing on repeat.
Isn't it so fun to watch like the music they pick up on? Because like the other day he was like, Mom, is there a song called 500 Miles? I'm like,
Proclaimers.
500 Miles. And he was like, how old were you when you heard this song? I was like, I don't know, a teenager. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
and he's just singing along with it. And I'm like,
Heck yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm like really proud. I'm like, look how cool she is. And then she'll fall for like Coco Melon like 2 seconds later.
well, at least we balance it
Yeah,
out.
we're going to just work our way towards it.
Yeah. Has she been to any shows or just singing
Yeah.
performer mostly?
Oh, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely tons of my shows. She kind of goes back and forth between wanting to be on stage with me or to tell me that I just shouldn't sing tonight and we should do something else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Seems like something
Yeah.
a 5-year-old would say. Let's go forward to Bon Iver 2017.
Yes. The next one is Bon Iver, the Ryman, Nashville, 2017. So is Halloween, and my husband and I, we like bonded over Bon Iver. We both love Bon Iver to no end. Had sort of like so many road trips listening to those. And when we first got married, 22 A Million came out and we listened like in the hotel room, like we just obsessed. So he bought me his anniversary tickets to go to the Ryman and see him. And I was just like, this is going to be incredible. So I'm dressed up as like a giraffe onesie, like full giraffe makeup. I feel like he wasn't dressed up, which makes it even weirder. I can't even remember what he was wearing.
You're just like getting ready for the show and you're like, hey, and he's like, a t-shirt.
Yes, in normal. I was like, all right. And we get there and we're not fully sober. You know what I mean? We were having a great time. And he had bought front row tickets.
Okay.
Because he was like, this is such a big thing. This is our favorite artist. Let's do this. And we get there and there were like 2 girls like in the front row. And I am so non-confrontational. I was like, it's fine, babe. We'll just like sit in the second row. And he was like, no, I definitely paid for these tickets, you know? And like, it was so uncomfortable because also just like, you know, on something, having myself a time, I'm like, ah. And so the security comes over and sure enough, they like actually belong someplace else. It wasn't a whole knockout, drag out fight, but I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the headline. It's like, Cam on coke gets caught in a giraffe suit, brawling some chick for front row tickets at Bon Iver. But we made it through. Got in our seats, had an incredible time. It was wonderful.
Was anybody else dressed up that night?
There were a few. There's a handful, and we'd make eye contact, like, I see you. Yeah. Not everybody.
What do you remember about the show? What were the special moments of the show?
I think my favorite thing about Justin is that he looks so normal. Like, he looks like a normal human up there playing something that, you know, came to his mind. And that just tickles me to no end. And maybe this is like the San Francisco side of me too, that's like indie rock and alternative, and you're just like, there's not too much glamour to it. I just love that you're like, he's like, I can see him sweating, you know? And there's something so real, and you just believe him. Like, I believe what he's doing because he's not making a big show of it. And yeah, I just remember being so kind of overwhelmed because he does such a good job with a very difficult to reproduce, in my opinion, something that is produced so well and so specifically. It's like, it doesn't sound like something you could play live very easily, and he did a perfect job of it. You know how like language is chopped up into almost like mathematical bits that we can all understand. It's very like concise and compartmentalized, and you can mix it up, but there's only so many little blocks that you're using. And music is like you're doing watercolors and things sort of bleed together, and it doesn't quite make sense. And that's what I feel like he's doing with his music, in my experience when I'm listening to it, is that it feels like it's being done for just the emotion of it, and like tapping into some sort of subconscious that we all are like, oh, I know what this is what blue feels like to me. I don't know if it's like they're really sensitive people and they're kind of connected to some currents that are happening, and the rest of us are like, ooh, yeah, let me be close to your receiver. I want to hear it too.
What like magic of his do you want to take and like put into your performance or your music?
I think this sort of soundscape element of it. Like I really love things feeling like there's a space to it when that's how I feel when I listen to his music. There's like a space. You almost feel the size of what's happening, and I can feel like the room that we're meant to be in. And I love that sort of soundscaping. And then there's your story you're telling with your voice that's cutting through too. And obviously like tons of stacked harmonies. I love that.
Yeah. Very cool. Is the Ryman kind of like your home venue? Have you seen the most shows there?
Yes, seen the most shows. I've seen like Sturgill there. I've seen Lizzo there. That was awesome. Yeah, and then played there a bunch, because when it's wintertime, besides my shows, the wintertime they move the Opry there too. So there's a lot of stuff we do there for that. And I don't know, like charity shows are all there. It just seems like it's definitely like the most iconic, and it has so much feeling. Like I got to play the Ryman even during COVID, and it was like the most creepy, ghosty feeling. And like even an empty Ryman just has so much character.
Like if these walls could talk.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like they do sometimes. Like I'm sure they're moving things and creeping employees out. But it's, like think of all the people that have been in that place listening and playing their music. Yeah.
Cool. Let's go forward to
Beyoncé, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, 2025. I wrote, produced, sang on a bunch of this album. I'm across 5 songs, and I got to even just pulling up, getting dropped off, and you just see everybody dressed up to the nines. I've never seen a concert where the audience was so committed.
They were kind of performing too.
Yes. Yes. Like she gave everyone permission to like show up in this, flavor.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And then you go inside, and I just was geeking out the whole time, because we're in like the pit, and as she comes out, you're just like, I remember I was freaking out because I really wanted to film, because I knew the beginning was going to be American Requiem, which is one of the songs that I'm on, and I love this song so deeply. And I was like, where's she going to come out? I was like kind of freaking out. We wouldn't be like filming the right thing. Yeah. And 2 of my friends were with me, and they were filming this too. And she steps out and starts singing. And my face, I posted it online. Her mom, even Beyonce's mom, reposted it. I'm just dying. And I wish I was cooler, but I also don't wish I was cooler, because what an artist, for how long and how hard she's worked and everything she's accomplished. And then she still is like, you know what I'm going to do next? Something no one expects. It's going to be high art, and it's about to re-educate people, and it's not even going to be confined to any one genre while I'm doing it. It just is. I don't think we're going to fully understand the impact of all this until decades later, and then look back and be like, whoa, that was incredible. But yeah, I was blown away, absolutely blown away. The visuals on the video wall, the outfits, the dancing, the band. Like, how do they find like the most good looking people who can also play that well? I don't know how they do that, but it was just, everything was so well done. One of my longtime friends, who's also my publisher, she was like, somehow you walk away being like, is she underrated? Like, how is that possible? Because the show's so good. Yeah.
What were you wearing? Did you
Yes. Oh, I had a whole get up. I had a kind of like a brown suit on and sort of like a brown and white Western vibe happening. And oh, yeah. I had to
Did
go
she play any of the other songs that you were?
Oh, yeah. And at some point, because I thought I knew the set list, but she switches it up, you know? So we stayed and watched a few of them. I was like, okay, now we have a little break. Let's maybe like go up to the merch line, which was huge. And then all of a sudden they started playing another one, Tyrant. So I like, run for it. And watch that one. And no, she played all five.
Your sort of like show Marquee Memories journey is different because I have other people come in and be like, I saw this band play and then I knew I wanted to play guitar and then I joined a band. But you...
I have one of those in the sense that I remember in San Francisco, I went and saw this band, and I don't want to say their name because I don't want to be a jerk to them, but they were like an indie rock band. It was just like 3 dudes on stage. And they were so confident and they were so mediocre. And that's when I knew I was probably about 24. Yeah. I literally said, if they can do it, I feel like I could do this level. I could do this level.
Didn't you pursue a psychology degree?
Yes. So that was at the end. That was towards the end of that. So I went to school for psychology research, not like the helpful therapy couch stuff, just more the numbers
there's
business.
Space for all of it.
And then I applied to graduate school. I didn't get into the program I wanted. I was like already having a big kind of identity. Who am I? And you know when you're like 24 and you're like, I'm so old, everything's over. And I went to my professor, who was like the head of the lab, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Should I be doing music or psychology? Which shows you how many musicians I knew. None. That's why I went to my psychology professor to ask this. And she goes, picture yourself 80 years old, and what would you regret looking back on your life missing out on? Would it be psychology or would it be music? And it made it so clear for me. I was like, I gotta at least just give it a shot, you know? I think it's the same thing that made me curious about psychology is the thing that makes me want to do music, is because I want so badly to like understand all these feelings inside myself and in the people that I care about. And I think I'm hypersensitive to them. They affect me a lot. And I feel like if I understand them, I can somehow like mitigate how thrown I get by my own and by others people's, but, or say something comforting to myself about it. And yeah, I think the psychology path, I realized like, it's just only ever part of the picture. And then this is the nature of science, right? You keep correcting and correcting and correcting. So it's never like an ultimate truth.
Right. Yeah.
And I think once that dawned on me, I was like, well, if there's no ultimate truth and you're kind of just,
pushing the needle a little.
Yeah, and you're telling new layers of the story and that it kind of reframes it every time you do. It's like, well, yeah, then why don't I just go subjective? And yeah, it's honestly, when I get into like the flow of writing and it is giving me one of those much needed things, like the Sam Smith song that I got to work on. It says, real love is never a waste of time. And I used to be so upset when things wouldn't go well in relationships. I'm like, what a waste of time. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I built that person up. And I can't believe, whatever you've spent on them. And
is it sunk cost fallacy, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm already in it. I might as well keep going. Do you have what is this? What's your background, young lady?
Communications, but I read a lot.
Okay.
I read a lot, so. But yeah, the sunk cost fallacy, I've read much about. So.
It's better just cut ties, get out of there.
Yeah. In an interview, you mentioned a song that didn't make the album that you sing to your daughter.
Oh.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's so sweet that you knew that. I kind of forgot I had even mentioned that. So I wrote something that was like kind of for my sister and for my daughter, because when I was younger, around like 16, my sister turned 16, she got her license, and I was like so terrified of losing her. Oh. And like she was like my closest person in my life, and I didn't know how to manage that. And like I told you, I didn't have a religion, so I just said, whatever happens next, like I'll meet you there. Like, I'll be there. Like, and if you get there first, you wait for me and I'll be there. And so I finally kind of got around to writing something like that when I had the similar feelings about my daughter. Like, if something happens to my daughter, I don't know what I will do, you know, and so it's just about like, I'll meet her by the river, you know, and it's just, I sing it to her every night pretty much before we go to bed, and I rub her back and stuff. And it's kind of dark, but super comforting. And I guess that's kind of my
It reminds me a little, it brings up the Death Cab for Cutie song, I Will Follow You into the Dark.
Yes,
like,
very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. But you said you had trouble like kind of like capturing it on a recording, right? So
yeah. Because it's like you have to record me while the sound machine's going, you know, and she's, you know.
Do you have a hatch?
Yes. Yes. And it's now like I have to sleep with white noise anywhere I go too.
One time he was like, Mama, I don't need that. And I was like, oh, but I do.
Yeah, exactly. I think to put something that is so context dependent, you know, like it's like meant to be in that space. It's meant to sound like, what's that? Is it that other book like David Byrne did How Music Works? But I feel like it's, you'll have to cut it out if I mess it up. But he talks about how like music's made for the spaces that it'll be listened to. And so like in your car, you know, like you'd have this huge bass, and in cathedrals you couldn't move too fast because of how long the reverb took to get back to you. And so like I feel like the lullaby scene, you'd have to capture it in this way that feels like, you know, the padded room that you're in. Yeah, there's just such a closeness to it. Maybe at some point.
Did your daughter mess up your Spotify Wrapped at all?
Yes. I honestly, I tried to split it at one point. I was like, okay, I'll listen to Apple Music and she'll listen to Spot. Because how do you split it up?
It's just too hard.
I'm not going to get 2 accounts.
Yeah, right.
Well, I guess I am on these 2 things. But I do feel like I have to admit, though, like I love K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, and I'll listen to it a few extra times after I drop her off. So.
You'll keep it on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make a playlist of new songs just to see what catches on him. But last year, my top song was a 20-year-old OK Go song. That's
actually
like
pretty cute.
3 times.
Aww.
You know, yeah. But it was just like, okay, well, I accept this. At least it's not terrible kids music, right? Because that is out there.
That's true.
That's out
there. I feel like you got to strong arm your way keeping some of it out of the.
Yes.
But no, I don't know if you've had this happen where she'll be like, Mom, you know that song? You know, and you're like, what song? And she's like, you know, the duck song, the duck lemonade song. And you're like, I do not know. And then you have to ask another parent. Like, that was
us when it was Apata, Bruno Mars. I was like, what are you talking about?
That was huge.
Apata. I was like, I don't know how to Google that.
You know what it reminds me of is like how we used to all do the hand clapping games as kids. And you're like, how did everyone know the exact same games? It was like the Kid Network is strong.
It is. It's very popular.
Yes.
But yeah, that was not a Googleable one. I had to ask like the after school coach. I was like, do you know what he's talking about? Okay. So of the memories that we talked about, which one do you think had the most impact on you?
Probably the Indigo Girls.
Indigo Girls.
I mean, they all were super impactful, and I think in different ways, but I think that was the beginning of me thinking that maybe I could do music, and seeing these 2 women talk about things that were like, they're just so smart and also complex, and, you know, digging into some stuff that's like just so poetically done. And I just was so in awe of it. And like I said, the Greek is just like a cozy big hug, you know? So it was really sweet to be there and take that in with so many people who were just so happy to be there. But obviously they were so far in their career at that point. They had such a strong fan base, and like all the things they've been through in their career, you know, to like keep showing up and doing that. They're just like, they're iconic.
Were you happy for them when the Barbie movie gave them a little bump?
Yeah. You know what? I mean, it's kind of funny because to me, they're like always playing. Yeah. So, but no, I'm so happy. Like anyone who wasn't aware needs to be aware and needs to be obsessed with them.
That was a fun sing-along moment.
Yeah. No, I was like, what? This is really happening.
Well, your schedule is very busy coming up. Do you have any plans to go to a show as a fan?
Ooh. Okay, so this is not quite a show, but next week I want to get tickets. There's a Princess Bride. They're going to play the movie.
Okay.
And the lead actor of Princess Bride will be there.
Okay.
And he's like doing a Q&A. So that's a show I'm going to go to.
One time they did Little Mermaid at the Hollywood Bowl.
Sing along?
Yes.
That's the best. They used to do those at the Castro Theater up north, and there was like a costume contest for that too. Yeah.
Nice.
The best.
Yeah, we wore colored wigs.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
I would for sure go back to any one of those. What do you have envisioned for your tour coming up?
Yeah. It's called the Slow Down Tour because, as you know, as a mom, I couldn't fully agree to be away from her. There's not that many dates, but I'm so thrilled to do this new album, All Things Light, which is kind of like this very, introspective, personal, spiritual, eclectic, and then complement it with like the party of hits afterwards, which is really fun to kind of be at like, album 3 and everyone's like kind of fighting over in the Instagram DMs of like which album cuts need to make the set list. It's pretty fun.
Do you take any the fan feedback into consideration?
Yes, of course. Because to me, it's like I would play the same favorites if I didn't, and that's probably not that fair. But there are some that like every now and then I always worry that like I don't want to play too many slow songs, which I don't know where we got with this. Some people just love slow songs and love sad songs, and some people love the up-tempo stuff. But mixing all that together, you have to balance it out. Like you can't have them crying too many tunes in a row. You gotta like have them laugh.
Got to take them on like an emotional roller coaster.
Yes, lift them up. Yeah. Like bring them down, lift them up.
You called one of your songs "Peak Sad Girl." Which one was that?
Everblue, probably.
Everblue. Are you putting that in there?
Yes, definitely.
So that's the crying song.
Yes, a lot of them are crying songs, but that is definitely a good crying song. I feel like people just need an excuse to cry, and what better way with like your stranger family in the dark at a show,
Yeah. It feels better to do it when other people are doing it
yes.
too.
Yeah. And that's what I like to do. I say this usually at the beginning of shows. I'm like, this is your space to do it. Like, let it out. This in the shower.
Amazing. Thank you so much for talking today.
Thank you.
It's fun talking about shows. And when we make a Marquee Nightmares, you can come back for that.
Yes. I'm ready.